When the dust settles, only one of them will still be standing. Every peaceful moment on these plains can hide the beginning of a brutal struggle for space, food, or survival. On the African savanna, survival can turn violent in an instant when two animals refuse to give way. At water, calm beauty and constant caution exist side by side. Reflections can hide depth, while bright light exposes movement along the shore. Dew, mist and open water combine to make dawn feel almost weightless. Within minutes, the soft atmosphere begins to disappear. Ripples carry light outward from each disturbance. Water becomes a mirror, then a pathway, then a gathering place. Birds skim the surface and briefly divide the reflection. The shoreline appears softer when wrapped in a low veil of vapor. The glow on the water narrows as the sun rises higher. The sunrise turns every splash into a flash of gold. Mist rises from warmer water into the cooler morning air. Reeds emerge gradually as the fog begins to lift. Moist ground darkens the footprints left along the bank. The first drink of the day happens beneath a sky still changing color. Early visitors approach while the banks are still cool. The water remains, but the delicate light moves on. Trees become increasingly detailed as morning travels down their trunks. The upper canopy receives warmth while the ground below stays cool. Leaves glow around their edges before their full color returns. Shallow water warms quickly under the African sun, changing both its quality and the animals willing to use it. A seasonal pond can become ecologically important even if it exists for only a few weeks. Deep pools survive longer through drought because they lose a smaller proportion of their volume to daily evaporation. Large mammals can stir sediment from the bottom and turn clear water cloudy within minutes. When water levels fall, previously submerged banks become new feeding grounds for birds and small animals. A narrow stream can sustain surprising biodiversity when the surrounding landscape offers almost no other moisture. Waterholes are never static because every visitor changes the mud, vegetation and access around the shoreline. A newly disturbed pool may become less attractive to some species and more useful to others searching for exposed food. Shorebirds often exploit soft mud because receding water reveals insects and other small prey beneath the surface. The line between wet and dry ground shifts constantly as evaporation and animal traffic reshape the edge. Water attracts life in layers, with insects near the surface, birds above it, and mammals gathering along the bank. Water availability often determines whether a landscape feels crowded or almost empty. The last clean edge of a shrinking pool can attract intense competition during the driest weeks of the year. The disappearance of a small pool can force an entire local community to reorganize its daily movements. Temporary water allows animals to use feeding areas that would otherwise be too far from permanent rivers. A wet patch may remain valuable long after visible water has disappeared because the soil beneath it stays moist. The return of standing water can trigger explosive biological activity after months of apparent silence. A flooded depression can transform ordinary grassland into a temporary nursery for insects, amphibians and birds. Freshwater insects often emerge in large numbers soon after rain restores shallow pools. Birds quickly detect these brief feeding opportunities and gather where the new abundance appears. Each turn is guided by changes too fast for the human eye to separate. The birds remain in constant pursuit while the opportunity persists. When the insects disperse, the aerial activity ends just as quickly. The savanna rewards speed when resources are temporary. A productive patch may support a large gathering until every seed is taken. Targets are captured in the air before they can settle. A silent sky may have been crowded only moments before. Seed-eating birds read the grasslands through ripeness and availability. Seeds cling to feathers or pass through digestive systems. Dropped material creates opportunities for insects and smaller ground animals. Travel carries them away from the original plant. Birds become unintentional partners in the spread of vegetation. The bird gains energy while the plant gains distance. Their feeding choices shape what may grow in future seasons. Their feeding can scatter as many seeds as it consumes. Every meal can influence the pattern of tomorrow's grassland. Feeding success depends on arriving at the exact right time. Courtship fills the sky and branches with movement beyond simple survival. The flock becomes part of the plant's movement across the landscape. Abundance brings noisy gatherings into otherwise quiet branches. Fruit-eating birds connect distant trees through repeated visits. A missed season can reduce success for both sides. This exchange has shaped savanna vegetation over countless generations. After feeding, they carry seeds beyond the parent tree's shadow. The relationship depends on timing between ripening fruit and bird movement. A perch elsewhere may become the starting point for new growth. Once the fruit is gone, the tree returns to stillness. Bright color guides them toward food hidden within the canopy. Condition matters because only well-fed bodies can afford prolonged competition. Abundance becomes future generations through stored energy. The outcome of the wet season may influence reproductive success months later. After birth, the young depend on adults for protection, guidance, and access to resources. Rest stops become more frequent until the young gains strength. The arrival of a calf changes the pace and priorities of those nearby. A group may travel more carefully when the smallest member is still unsteady. Survival is measured across generations rather than individual speed. Adults accept slower progress to preserve the future of the group. The first successful journeys of a newborn are victories shared by the herd. Pregnancy places additional demands on already massive bodies. Every growing giant begins as a vulnerable body learning where to place its feet. Movement must continue even as the cost of travel increases. Time transforms dependence into confidence and confidence into experience. The oldest adults once followed the same paths beneath the protection of others. The young carry the future, while the old carry the map. Generations overlap within a single moving group. Experience can reduce the need for speed. Across the grasslands, this connection gives the herd continuity beyond any single life. Age gradually changes the way a giant uses the landscape. Together, they connect memory with possibility. Older bodies may move more slowly, but choose routes with greater efficiency. Wisdom appears in energy saved, injuries prevented, and timing improved. it may avoid conflict that a younger rival would enter. A mature animal recognizes poor ground before testing it. Yet aging also brings worn teeth, slower recovery, and reduced tolerance for long travel. Animals may become active within the shaded zone before sunlight returns. Such moments reveal how strongly life responds to even small changes in exposure. The moving cloud leaves no permanent mark, yet its influence is instantly visible. Across the open plains, weather does not need to touch the ground to change the scene. By afternoon, long hours of heat begin to weaken the sharpness of the landscape. Until then, the endless grasslands remain bright, exposed and unforgiving. The wind is one of the strongest forces shaping the appearance of the open savanna. Without barriers, it can travel across the plains for great distances before losing strength. Strong gusts press the grass flat, then release it in rolling succession. Animals lift their heads as new scents travel over the open ground. Lighter breezes touch only the seed heads and leave the lower stems almost still. A change in airflow may arrive from distant rain, fire, or shifting temperature. Grass bends in broad sections, creating patterns that race toward the horizon. These waves make the land appear to move even when every stem remains rooted. The plains carry information faster through air than through visible movement. The direction of the wind can be read across the entire landscape at once. The land waits for the sun to descend and release it from the day's greatest pressure. A predator hidden far away may be revealed by scent before shape. Smoke can travel over many kilometers and alter behavior before flames are visible. Rain may announce itself through cool wind long before clouds reach the scene. The open grasslands function as a vast corridor for sound and smell. Age changes the way a hunter survives, shifting the advantage from raw strength toward timing and memory. Predators remember productive routes, reliable water, and places where prey often becomes vulnerable. Predators communicate ownership long before rivals meet face to face. A familiar landscape can give a hunter an advantage that no stranger can immediately match. Territory provides predators with access to food, shelter, water, and the space needed to raise young. Defending territory can be costly. So many disputes begin with scent, sound, or posture before physical contact. A call across the night can mark distance, warn competitors, and strengthen the presence of a group. Scent marks create invisible boundaries that predators recognize even when humans see only open grass. Avoiding a fight is often the safest form of victory when both animals depend on healthy bodies to survive. Competition between predators can be as intense as the hunt itself, because the same food is valuable to many species. A successful kill may attract rivals, scavengers, and opportunists from far across the surrounding plains. Some predators eat quickly, while others hide or move food to reduce the chance of losing it. A meal can become dangerous when stronger rivals arrive before the hunter has finished feeding. Predators influence the savanna even when they are not hunting, simply because prey changes behavior in areas where danger is expected. Predators must often defend their food after spending enormous energy to obtain it. The savanna rarely allows food to remain private for long once scent and sound begin spreading. Predators are connected to scavengers because every successful hunt can support many other lives afterward. Older predators may lose some speed, but years of knowledge can make their movements more efficient. The remains of a meal continue feeding the ecosystem long after the original hunter has moved on. The most experienced hunters often succeed through better positioning rather than greater physical effort. The possibility of attack can alter where herds feed, drink, rest, and travel. The first green shoots after rain can appear in places that seemed completely lifeless only days before. This uneven rainfall creates a mosaic of green and brown across the savanna. Fresh growth often begins near the soil where moisture is protected from direct sun. One storm can revive a small area while neighbouring ground remains trapped in dry season conditions. After prolonged drought, recovery happens in patches before it spreads across the wider landscape. Animals often follow these weather-created patches, linking vegetation change to movement across the plains. Trees influence local conditions by slowing wind, creating shade, and trapping organic material beneath their canopies. Deadwood continues supporting the savanna through insects, fungi, cavities, and slowly returning nutrients. Fallen branches provide shelter at ground level even after they are no longer part of the living canopy. Weather constantly reshapes trees through broken limbs, stripped bark, and changing patterns of growth. Resilience here is not the absence of damage, but the ability to continue after it. Decay proceeds slowly in dry air, allowing old trunks to remain part of the landscape for a long time. Yet, many savanna trees recover by redirecting growth around wounds and damaged branches. Strong storms can damage in minutes what took decades to build. Soil beneath a large tree can be richer and cooler than the open ground surrounding it. Birds, insects and mammals add nutrients beneath trees, turning shade into a small ecological hotspot. A standing dead tree can remain useful for years as a perch, lookout and nesting site. Dry season colour is more complex than it first appears, ranging from silvergrass to red soil and dark weathered bark. Older animals often carry knowledge of routes that lead toward reliable water and seasonal feeding grounds. A herd benefits from experience accumulated by individuals that have survived many difficult seasons. Play among young herbivores helps build the speed, balance and confidence they will later need during real danger. Growing up in a herd means learning how to feed, travel, rest and react without becoming separated. Calves and juveniles often move between adults because the safest path through the plains is rarely an empty one. For a newborn herbivore, remaining near the herd can be more important than any other survival skill. When food becomes scarce, the same herd may spread widely to reduce competition between individuals. Fresh grass can draw scattered groups together until the landscape appears filled with moving bodies. Herd movement across the plains is often shaped by knowledge passed silently from one generation to the next. During drought, the memory of an older animal can guide the group towards resources hidden beyond the visible horizon. Young animals learn the rules of herd life by staying close to adults and copying their responses. A single raised head can trigger a wave of attention that spreads through an entire herd. The rhythm of grazing changes instantly when several animals stop feeding at the same time. Mothers constantly adjust their position to keep vulnerable young within reach of protection. Branches create intricate patterns as detail gives way to outline. Birds return to familiar branches before the final light disappears. Long shadows spread from the base of each trunk and merge across the grass. Their canopies form dark islands against the colours of the western sky. The canopy releases the heat of the day as cooler air moves through its leaves. Dry branches stand sharply against the glowing horizon. The fading sky reveals nests that were hidden among the daytime foliage. A solitary tree can make the vastness of the savanna feel even greater. Scattered trees become the strongest silhouettes in the evening landscape. Some trees become crowded roosts, while the plains below grow quiet. The last sunlight catches upper leaves while the trunks below are already hidden. The The evening tree line marks where open ground gives way to deeper shadow. Wind moves through the canopy and changes the silhouette from moment to moment. Animals resting beneath branches become difficult to distinguish from the darkening earth. Winds cross borders without recognizing human boundaries. The final scene belongs to a network stretching across the continent. What happens here is connected to distant regions through weather and movement. The plains extend beyond every visible boundary. No single valley, river or grassland stands entirely alone. The savanna is part of a larger world of migration and seasonal change. The plains are joined by roots written into instinct and memory. Rain falling far away may determine life here weeks later. The savanna's continuity depends on these open connections. Animals move between regions and carry the story with them. The wilderness continues through connections larger than any one place. Every journey links one part of the ecosystem to another. The end of one route becomes the start of a different path.